Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Soren Hauge, who's coming to us from Denmark. This is the third time he's presented at one of our events, first time at Fairy Congress at Scalitude, and this is the second Gaian Global Congress, and we're so excited to have him back. He has that she lightness to him that we love, love to play with. So yeah, can you tell us what was it? What was your first connection to the she like? What was that experience when you first met them?
Well, I owe much to David Spangler, my good friend and colleague, because I've been um, in contact with David since 2007. And around 2011 and 12, he started talking about the she, and he had been very hesitant about it for a while. But then he finally opened an online course or workshop, seminar, whatever it was called. And I was part of that. And I remember so clearly because I've always had a deep love affair with nature. And at the same time, I've always been um, very conscious about spirituality in my life. But the combination of nature and spirituality was where everything kind of opened. And I remember I participated in this week long or several week long event online. And at a certain point, I asked David, um, well, if you have this sense of nature with a kind of human face, but yet not. And that face has a sense of um, being more natural than you have ever imagined. And but also a melancholic touch. Does this have anything to do with the she? Because he had been opening into this via his own contact. And he gave a very clear answer and really supporting answer. Said you really touched something important here. And then it sort of changed in me because I was at a tipping point where I had been teaching theosophy for 3 decades, mainly being very loyal to the great pioneers and being like an ambassador for other people's thoughts. So I didn't think that I should become able to have such an opening like that. And privately later, David, he said, I think you will find it very easy. It's not complicated. And I was, what? Don't I need a lot of training and, specific esoteric details to connect in a very advanced manner? And no, not at all. He described it almost as if it's just besides you. You just have to focus on it in another way than you expect, and let it go from there. And immediately after that, I got a clear sense of a specific individual that really came forward. And it was very difficult for me to explain what it was. I also have an academical background, so I'm a little loaded with preconceptions, and mental images. And it was a sense of um, open-hearted interest from a male, like a friend, like something coming from the remote into the foreground. And this was the beginning of a long getting acquainted program, you could say, and finding out that it was not about me channeling uh, another species, but much more of two kindred spirits sharing vital inspiration. So that was the beginning of my contact with Fjeldur, and I wrote several books about it and had a lot of workshops and so on. But the inspiration is much more like friends sharing important, vital points of interests. So that has been the connection. So it has learned me much more to lean into my own inner she nature, because as a human, I'm also an angel and a she, and whatever we would call the our facets of being. So it really became a matter of me learning to rely on the she part of my nature because of my close encounter with a kindred spirit. It's very simple, and at the same time, it had huge implications for my spiritual work, my counseling, my teaching, and my book writings, and my travelings, and so on.
Yeah.
That's the short version.
Yeah, it's I'm hearing the paradox of sort of magical and inner work where the small contains the large. It's like sometimes just a small shift can
Yeah,
just, yes, bring you totally different places. And yeah, that's,
absolutely.
yeah. So that brings me to your workshop, The Power of the In-Between.
Yes.
That,
And when you invited me, it came instantaneously. It was immediate response. It has to be about the in between. It has to be about the importance of the in between. And I dared to say it has to be about the power of the in between. And it is simply because it's not just something. I I really perceive it as um, something very, very important that we easily overlook. So, in a way, it is about the incredible resourcefulness right besides us that we often don't discover. And it is like a game changer of not only our own lives, but also our possibility of participating in the current challenging global wise. So it is an opening to the she and an opening to our inner she nature, but it is also very simply the magic of the pause. What is when something has stopped and something new has not begun? What is it between A and B? And we think A and B are very important, but actually, the in between is calling us. It's like the O in wow, and we focus tremendously on the W and the W. And the first W is about wasting energy with the past, and the second W is about waiting for the future. But right between the past and the future, there is an opening into what we sometimes call the now and the present, but it is much more than that. So I would like in the workshop to invite into this magical realm and to encourage the participants to rely on the in between. I years back in Danish, I coined the word in betweenness. Um, but we don't have a word for this, but it is where magic begins, and it is what completes wholeness. And it is as if something very small is huge. So this is also our possibility of completely changing the picture. That
yeah,
is what I'm
yeah,
inviting
yeah.
my participants.
Sounds perfect. It actually goes well with our theme, which is deepening into, now I'm blanking out on it, the deepening into potent intimacy, being the beloved. But because it's like when we and our
Yes.
allies come together, there's that alchemy that can happen. That, yeah, you have to have that.
And you could take that, the potent intimacy. So you could ask, what is intimacy? It is not this or that, but it is
Right.
what happens in between.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is so
Amazing.
perfect. Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. We look forward to, yeah, joining with you. So the dates are January 19th through the 21st, GaianCongress.org. I'll put the link down in the description of the video, and we hope to see you all there. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.